Well, it's time for my impressions for today, and today I'm taking the interview with Andrea to heart, in which we were talking about these millennials, and that got me thinking about like the concept of a market that's always changing. I mean, the people that have been born now in the first 10 years of this century, what do they call them? They call the naughties, and now what do they call the tensters, or whatever they're going to call the next next bunch. They're all going to have so-called traits and needs and desires and and drivers and tastes and all sorts of things that will keep morphing. And that talks to me about the fact that all markets are constantly morphing. And if you, the entrepreneur, are not watching this, are not tracking this, are not expecting this, then you will go on the dump heap of history as one of those 96% of businesses that fail. So quickly, 3 things to just frame this conversation. Number one, that your same market could mature. So today you've got a market, and your market might actually before your eyes be maturing, and you might not notice that. And if you're not tracking that maturation in terms of their tastes and their needs, you might miss out on a huge opportunity into the future and become irrelevant. Number 2, there might be new dominance in the market, particularly technology dominance. For example, if you were a individual who had a tennis racket manufacturer and made it out of wood, and there was this thing called graphite that was being invented and being used in tennis rackets, and you weren't taking notice of that, you would soon be out of business, which in fact many of the wooden tennis racket people did, because they didn't follow the trend. So what is starting to dominate in terms of your industry? You've got to look for what dominance and what's the upcoming dominance in your market from a technology, particularly from a technology point of view. Which leads me to my third one, which is something called disruption. And you will have heard disruption many times in the media and many times on the show. And disruption really relates to a brand new way. So as opposed to a brand new technology, it would be a whole new way that a market consumes a product or service. And of course, Uber is a classic example of that, that before I would have to consume transport in a certain way, and now I can consume it in a completely different way by simply picking up my cell phone, pushing an app, seeing who's around, calling them, and then actually not even pulling out my wallet when I get out of the car. And so that opens up huge other markets and uses as well. So what is the disruption that's going to take you out? Think about that, and rather be the disruptor than the disruptee. Well, that's it.